Okay, good morning ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know me, my name is James Tran and I'm the Administrative Officer at Debating SA, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all here this morning to this morning's Grand Final debate. We acknowledge that we're meeting on the traditional country of the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains, and we recognise and respect their cultural heritage, beliefs and relationship with the land. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2014 Debating SA Grand Final. Today is the conclusion of another great season of the competition, and I commend all debaters who have taken part in this year's competition. I hope that along the way you have learnt to improve your skills in the art and craft of debating. Debating provides great opportunities to develop in a wide range of life skill areas such as research and analysis, clear thinking, often under pressure, teamwork, thinking about and seeing different perspectives on topical issues, developing confidence and speaking in front of peers and others on the journey, and having a great sense of enjoyment with your colleagues. Debating SA remains committed to promoting and supporting debating as a very valuable and worthwhile skill for our young people. This year, we've had 180 teams representing 47 schools across the government, Catholic and independent sectors. We've been honoured to have had the patronage of Mr Kevin Scarce for a number of years in his capacity as the Governor of SA, and we look forward to continuing with the new Governor, His Excellency Hugh Van Lee, and all teams taking part in today's Grand Finals will be presented with a medallion of recognition at a ceremony hosted by the new SA Governor at Government House on Thursday the 30th of October at 5 p.m. Sincere thanks to my team, Tony Huey, Michelle Southern, and also the team of adjudicators who have assisted this year in organising and running our program, as well as providing the training and resources for schools. We thank the army of parents, coaches, teachers, families and helpers who have provided support in the various ways for all the debaters this year. We thank our host schools very generously for opening up their schools and making their facilities available. So, what better place to hear our top debaters than in our own House of Assembly chamber in the Parliament of South Australia, a wonderful and powerful symbol of democracy and free speech. We are very grateful to the Honourable Chris Picton, Member for Kaurna, along with his parliamentary colleagues, for kindly and generously facilitating the use of this facility today. So just a reminder to our debaters, there might be parliamentary secrets in the drawers in front of you, so please be sure to resist the temptation to go looking. And when you come up to speak today, you're very welcome to come out the front and use the lectern, but alternatively, you can stand in front of the lectern if you wish, but remembering that we are filming the debates, and you've got a big audience as well, so you need to speak with a really big voice if you choose not to use the microphone. All the very best to our two Grand Final teams today. I'm sure we're in for an enjoyable and wonderful exchange today, so without further ado, let the debate begin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jock Plasto, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2014 Year 8 Division Debating SA Grand Final Debate. The topic of this debate is that Australia should not buy Japanese-built Soryu-class submarines. Hoping to convince you of the truth of this morning's topic is the affirmative team from Glenunga International High School, consisting of first speaker Yihao Chen, second speaker Biseth Back, and third speaker Jonathan Pasalidis. Trying to show you that this morning's topic is false is the negative team from Rostrevor College, consisting of first speaker Patrick Muller, second speaker Luke Valenti, and third speaker Cyril Sargi. This grand final debate will be judged by a panel of 5 adjudicators who are Ms Alicia Yan, Mr Bo Brugg, Mr David Morton, Mr Simon Atherton, and Ms Stella Crawford. The speaking time of this debate is 4 minutes. A single warning bell will sound at 3 minutes, and a double bell will sound at 4 minutes. If required, a continuous bell will sound 30 seconds after the second bell, indicating that the speaker must conclude their speech. I ask that all mobile phones and other electronic devices be switched off for the duration of the debate. I declare this debate open and call upon Yeehaw Chairman to open the affirmative case.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, and the opposing team. The topic for today's debate is that Australia should not buy Japanese-built Soryu-class submarines. We define the topic as meaning should, implying an obligation, buy to purchase, built, completely assembled, Soryu-class submarine, the type of diesel-powered underwater warship based on the Ayashiro-class submarine that entered commissioned service with the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force in 2009. Constructed by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries and Kawasaki Shipbuilding Corporation. Meaning that Australia is obligated not to purchase the type of diesel-powered underwater warship based on the Ayashiro-class submarine that entered commissioned service with the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force in 2009, constructed by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries and Kawasaki Shipbuilding Corporation. Today as first speaker, I will be talking to you about the numerous benefits of building replacement submarines for Collins class in Australia. Conversely, our second speaker, Seth, will be talking about the disadvantages of buying these submarines from the Japanese, including detriment to the economy. Our third speaker, Jonathan, will rebut and sum up our team's case. My first point is that building these submarines in Australia would promote growth in our economy in many ways. The current shipbuilding industry in Australia provides over 20,000 jobs, according to the Australian Industry and Defence Network Incorporated. Many of the jobs in construction and maintenance are located here in South Australia, up at ASC's shipbuilding plant in Austin. By committing to build new submarines here in Australia, we will create thousands of jobs, if not stopping the spiral into high unemployment rates, especially in our state, where jobs are desperately needed. Our second speaker, Seth, will elaborate on this. Building submarines here will bolster our withering economy. Also, this will develop advanced design and technological skills for the future, ones which will be of immense future benefit for Australia, ensuring that Australian technology and design remains internationally competitive and innovative. We must prioritise our domestic needs and protect our industries to make them viable and competitive in the long-term future, and by building submarines here instead of Japan, we are doing so. My second point is that by building our own submarines, we become more independent as a country, which is important in times of warfare or conflict when the need for these submarines are critical. Imagine if we had to cart our fleet of a dozen submarines across the vast Pacific to Japan every time they needed deep servicing, which is likely so that Japan can preserve its trade secrets. It's also possible that our relationships with this country may become compromised in the future, and then we'd be left on our own. Matters that are critical to our country, like defence, should be left in our hands, not those of others. Today, I have spoken to you about how we should not buy Japanese Soryu-class submarines and build our own here in Australia. This will ensure that economy, South Australia's in particular, grows steadily. It will preserve and create jobs and develop of a high-tech industry. I have also spoken to you about the importance of being self-reliant when it comes to defence. Thank you.
I call upon Patrick Muller to open the negative case.
Good morning, Chairperson, guests, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for this morning's debate is that Australia should not buy Japanese-built Soryu class submarines. Fittingly, today in Government House, we will take the side of the Liberal Party, where our opposition have already started flaunting the ridiculous arguments made by the Labor Party. Obviously, we believe the topic is false. However, we accept the definition provided by the affirmative team. Today, I'll be discussing that it's simply not cost-effective to build a second generation of Collins-class submarines here, and that we should focus our energy elsewhere. Also, the existing Collins-class subs are not up to the standard of the Soryu-class subs. Luke, our second speaker, will discuss the purchase still provides opportunities for work, and that it is essential that we have the best possible defence, and this move assists our foreign relations. Cyril will rebut the opposition's points and summarise our team argument. We've heard from the opposition that it would be un-Australian to buy Japanese submarines, that building subs employs thousands of South Australians and is good for the economy. We agree, all of this is true, but at what cost? How much will the federal and state governments have to pour into this project? I'm a Crow eater, through and through, but the reality is SA has had 3 decades to get the Collins class right. And at what result? A price tag of over twice what the Japanese are offering. Not to mention malfunctioning equipment and risks of fire starting when underwater, according to news.com. Come on, affirmative, face the facts. Mining, farming works for Aussies. The technology game is the one Japanese have won. Just ask Holden and the millions of Australians driving a Mazda and Toyota. Now, firstly, friends, let's talk context and money. On April 5th, 2014, the Australian reported that it cost $40 billion to build the Australian subs, while on September 8th, 2014, News.com reported that it cost only $20 billion to build buy the Japanese submarines. There was no comparison here, ladies and gentlemen. And if that's being kind, our Liberal friends are saying it could cost up to $80 billion. Ladies and gentlemen, think how this money can be better spent. Furthermore, according to the Reserve Bank of Australia, our gross debt has gone from $58.2 billion in 2007 to $257.3 million in 2013. I know, affirmative like Labor under Kevin in 08 want to throw us back into debt. But perhaps tightening our belt here makes sense. Why not use our engineers and blue-collar workers on agriculture, tourism, or contributing to logistics, media, education, or mining industries? In fact, does the affirmative team realise that according to the BBC, of our nation's $6.4 trillion of total wealth, these are the areas we specialise in? As a capitalist nation, doesn't the bigger picture make sense? Secondly, Australians deserve the best possible defence, and unfortunately our existing subs fall short. The Collins class has been subject to many incidents and technical problems since the design phase. Friends, both News.com and the text, the Collins class submarine story, recount multiple fires and just for extra excitement. Also state, if the periscope was raised when the submarine was moving, the entire boat shook violently. Affirmative team, our troops deserve better than this. Thirdly, according to NavyTechnologies.com, the Soryu class submarine entered service in 2009 coming packed with cutting-edge features such as lithium-ion batteries, enhanced stealth and speed capabilities. It is known as the stealth sub, and both Australian and American submarinists have said it is very difficult to detect. Hey, at this point, we're just happy not to be burning and shaking around. Finally, fellow South Australians, we must remember that this purchase will be the largest the Defence Force will make on any piece of equipment. The Director of Australian Strategic Policy Institute said earlier this month, if too much money is directed at building submarines, it could distort other defence priorities and weaken Australia's defence effort. Ladies and gentlemen, Prime Minister Tony Abbott was correct when he said the most important thing is to get the best and most capable submarines at a reasonable price to the Australian taxpayer. We should make decisions based on defence requirements, not on the basis of industry policy. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
continue the affirmative case, please welcome Visa back.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chairman and the opposing team. The topic for today's debate is Australia should not buy Japanese-built Soryu-class submarines. We, as the affirmative team, strongly believe that this statement is true. The negative team's first speaker has said that our first attempt at building submarines, the Collins class, wasn't that good, and that we aren't capable of building submarines that are technologically advanced enough to meet our requirements. This is false. Despite the negative press surrounding the construction and maintenance of the Collins class submarines, we didn't actually build a product that was really tellable. They have been and continue to be at the front of their class, the conventional submarines. We have and we can continue to learn lessons from our experiences with the Collins class submarines and help the submarines to become better in the future. Our first speaker, Yihao, has already explained to you the undeniable benefits of building submarines here in Australia and has emphasised the importance of doing so. I will speak to you about the detriments that will occur to Australia, and particularly South Australia, if our country were to proceed and purchase these submarines. My first point is that by purchasing Japanese Soryu-class submarines and consequently not committing to building them here, we will lose jobs and industry that Australia has spent almost 3 decades investing billions of taxpayer dollars into. Like our first speaker mentioned, there are many, many people employed in the Australian shipbuilding industry. Without a tender or contract for submarine development or construction, a Federal Senate committee hearing has found that we risk losses of over 10,000 jobs. Many of these job losses will be where the submarines are built, which is right here in South Australia. This is on top of a state unemployment rate of 6.7% according to the SA government. Couple that with the estimated losses of up to 13,200 jobs and $1.25 billion worth of gross state revenue when Holden shuts down in coming years, and the future for South Australia will not look good at all. It is vital to save South Australia and the Australian shipbuilding industry by ensuring that we do not buy Japanese-built Soryu-class submarines, and instead continue to invest in the industry that we have spent years upon years supporting. Now is not a good time to call quits on the future of our state, especially not when we don't need to. My second point is that the Japanese Soryu-class submarine is not suited to Australian conditions. Australia has a huge marine jurisdiction, the 3rd largest in the world, according to our government agencies. Our coastline is almost 60,000 kilometres long, and we need vessels with the ability to patrol our vast seas. The Soryu-class submarine has only about half the range of a 20-year-older Collins-class submarine, 11,000 kilometres compared with a class-leading 22,000 kilometres. In an interview in July 2013, former Chief of the Defence Force, Sir Peter Cosgrove, emphasised the importance of having long-range submarines equipped with powerful weaponry. This goes to show that the Soryu-class submarines are downright unsuitable for Australian needs, and we can only ensure that they are by building our own. My third point is that by purchasing Soryu-class submarines that are built in Japan, we may raise the stakes in unwanted tensions in our region. By purchasing these vessels, we are making a strong, long-lasting military bond and commitment with Japan, which may be of detriment to us in the future. By siding with Japan, who is currently not very amicable to China at all, may cause our relations with China to deteriorate. China is critical to our country strategically and economically. They are our biggest trading partners by far, and by buying Soryu submarines, we are throwing this into jeopardy and risking an immense amount of trade. Today, I've spoken to you about how we should not buy Japanese Soryu-class submarines because of the multitude and magnitude of the implications it would have for our country. Thank you.
Please welcome Luke Valente.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, adjudicators and Mr Chairman. The topic of today's debate is that Australia should not buy Japanese-built Soryu-class submarines. We, the negative, most avidly disagree with this statement. To begin with, I'll rebut the points made by the first and second affirmative speakers. The first affirmative speaker stated that building submarines will make us a more independent country. This is based on limited thinking because Australia should focus on the things we are good at, as Patrick has already stated. The second speaker has also stated that we will have many more jobs if the subs are built in Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, our very own Prime Minister has stated that wherever the subs are built, there will still be a huge amount of jobs in South Australia for the maintenance and service of these submarines. The second affirmative speaker has also failed to rebut many of the compelling points made by our first speaker, Patrick. Now on to my points. Firstly, it is of paramount importance that we have the best possible protection by our naval forces. Ladies and gentlemen, let's face it, the Collins-class subs are sinking, in this case metaphorically as opposed to literally. They are designed poorly and are unreliable and a significant failure as a weapons platform. According to our allies, the US Navy and German military, the Japanese Soryu-class subs are the best diesel-electric boats available. It should be safety first, friends, not just for our nation, but for our naval officers. Secondly, despite the limited thinking of the affirmative team, employment opportunities will benefit our country to the utmost. Multiple military personnel, such as Minister Johnson and journal sources like The Guardian, state the new submarine project will be centred on the Adelaide shipyards, which means our city will still host the maintenance facilities. There will also be further jobs created at new ports in the Northern Territory and Queensland to cater for the shorter range of these Japanese subs. However, crucially, what the affirmative team failed to comprehend is that this opportunity to buy Soryu is a blessing in disguise. We need to consider this morning's topic pragmatically. The notion will allow our engineers and blue-collar workers to prioritise developing truly Australian initiatives such as agriculture, farming, logistics and mining, as Patrick has already stated. Submarines are not the only area the Japanese are global leaders in. Drive.com states that 7 out of the top 10 selling cars in Australia are Japanese made. Perhaps the patriotic affirmative team can refute the ABS that say Toyota Corolla sales, already the #1 car in Australia, have increased by 25%. Ladies and gentlemen, we already embrace Japanese technology. Why not continue to forge this already proven bond? Furthermore, friends, the move will improve our military relationship with Japan, which will in turn improve our trade relationship. According to economist.com, Japan is the 3rd largest economy in the world. The more we trade with Japan, the more export opportunities Australia will have, as mentioned earlier by our first speaker. Finally, Australian Defence Forces are of poor mechanical standing. Powerhouses Germany and USA's military men are noted by reputable Australian and Herald journalists as backing the option of international purchasing of submarines. If these countries, along with our own military generals and ministers, renowned for defensive strength, are backing this option, then ladies and gentlemen, we would be utterly stupid not to follow in their footsteps. In conclusion, it is essential that the Australian government do buy submarines from Japan, because it will increase the safety of our country, strengthen our bond with Japan, and provide ample employment opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, arigato.
To conclude the affirmative case, I call upon Jonathan Parcelidis.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chairman and opposing team. The topic for today's debate is that Australia should not buy Japanese-built Soryu-class submarines. We, the affirmative team, strongly believe this statement to be true. The opposing team's first speaker has said that we aren't thinking about the bigger picture. This is false. It is because we are thinking about the bigger picture that we think that we should build the submarines here. We are thinking about the negative repercussions that all of those job losses will have. Those repercussions, specifically, if these people lose their jobs, they're going to have to go on unemployment benefits. This costs the government money. They're also going to have to be reskilled. This also costs the government money. These people have less money, so they're spending less. So now the economy isn't doing too well and our unemployment rate is higher. Things just don't look good if so many people lose their jobs. The opposing team has also tried to tell you that we aren't that good at manufacturing submarines and so we just shouldn't bother. First of all, this isn't really true. We aren't that bad at manufacturing submarines. Our second speaker already pointed out that the Collins-class submarines, despite the negative press, weren't that awful. It's also because of the fact that we do manufacture so very little in this country now that we should try and build our own submarines. We shouldn't have to be reliant on every other country for everything. A paper by the government agency Defence SA reported that due to our 100 years of experience in operating submarines and 25 years in building them, that we are in position to, and I quote, become a world leader in conventional submarine build and sustainment. The opposing team's second speaker has also said repeatedly that we can have more jobs from maintenance and that we won't actually lose that many jobs. This is only partially true. Sure, there may be some jobs if we happen to be the ones that get to maintain the submarines, but there are a lot more jobs in the construction of submarines than there are in just the maintenance of them. Today, our first speaker spoke to you about why we should not buy Soryu-class submarines from Japan and instead build them in Australia because of the benefits to our economy, the increase in the number of available jobs, the fact that we can develop skills in technological areas that can be of future benefit, and because we should only rely on our own country for defence. Our second speaker spoke to you about why we shouldn't buy Japanese Soryu-class submarines because of the negative impacts to our economy, the number of Australian jobs that would be lost, and the fact that the Soryu subs, as they currently are, aren't suited to our needs, and because the submarines from Japan, and because buying submarines from Japan would have detrimental repercussions for future international relations. So, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, we, the affirmative team, have clearly shown that because of the numerous benefits of building our own submarines here, and the huge negative impacts that buying them from the Japanese will have, that Australia should not buy Japanese-built Soryu-class submarines.
To conclude the negative case and this morning's debate, I call upon Soryu.
Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, chairperson and fellow debaters. The topic for this morning's debate is that Australia should not buy the Japanese-built Soryu-class submarines. We, the negative team, most definitely believe that this statement is most utterly false. As well as supporting my teammates' compelling arguments, I will restore what should have been a good morning for everyone by rebutting the ridiculous points made by the affirmative team. The first affirmative speaker has stated that job losses will result if Australia does not use Collins-class submarines. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously the affirmative team are ill-advised. According to Australians, defence maintenance jobs will still be kept in South Australia, as well as introducing new jobs in Queensland and the Northern Territory. So in fact, more jobs are introduced. The first affirmative speaker has cleverly stated that the manufacturing automobile industry will suffer even more. Yes, this may be true, but without stopping on industry, there will be a false sense of security. We should spend the money on other industries, such as agriculture, tourism and mining, which can blossom and replace the $2.345 in funding that is being wasted. Why are we paling water out of a sinking ship? The first affirmative speaker has stated that we will become stronger in warfare as an independent nation. In the battlefield, ladies and gentlemen, made in Australia does not mean anything. We need to have the latest cutting-edge technology in order to protect our sailors, our soldiers and our nation. With the high stealth speed and power that Soryu-class submarines are what we need. We also reinforce a bond with Japan, which can help us in further conflict. The first affirmative speaker has wrongly stated that is in dire need of support. We should support our fellow Australians. This is false because any industry should be able to sustain itself without its quality and cutting-edge technology, not just the funding the government gives. Just look at our farming, mining and wine industries. They're extremely competitive worldwide. Collins-class submarines are not producing. The second affirmative speaker has stated that with the destruction of the automobile industry, this will result in total destruction. This is most definitely wrong because just take a look at Germany. After World War I and World War II, all the industries were destroyed and money was used to burn and start fires. Now, through the innovation and perseverance, they have come out of the ashes of destruction like a phoenix bird to become a technological superpower. Why can't we, in such a developed time, do the same? The second affirmative speaker has cleverly stated that this is good for our nation to learn and develop our knowledge on submarines. His cleverness has shown some limitations as for the past 40 years we have spent over $2 billion on these submarines. We have spent so much and there have been no developments. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick stated substantially that the Collins-class submarines are poorly built, highlighting their lacking in performance, poor design and low reliability. He has also listed better use for the saved money, such as aiding our tourism, mining and agriculture, as well as our education and health, which are in dire need of the millions. The engineers and submarines have ideas to prove themselves, but time and time again, they have not produced. It is better to see the ship as a blessing and hone our focus on the mentioned industries that can He's also mentioned that the attributes of the Soryu-class subs supported by military generals put the Collins-class submarines to shame. Luke has stated major military nations such as US and Germany are supporting us, and we as a nation don't have a strong background in military, so we should trust those who do. He has also stated more jobs will be open in service stations and ports in Queensland, Darwin, as well as maintenance in Adelaide. So in conclusion, we can assure our safety, better use the taxes that each hard-working individual in this nation pays, and form a lasting bond with a global superpower. Clearly, ladies and gentlemen, the feminist team, it is time to go down the press road as this debate, like the Collins class, is sunk. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, just while we await the result of the debate, I'd like to extend an invitation. Once the result is announced, we're going to present the trophy to the winning team, of course, and then there'll be an opportunity for friends and family to come forward to take photographs of the students. And after that, we would humbly request that we take the trophy back for the presentations, which will be held in October. So thanks very much for that.
upon a representative of the adjudication panel to come forward and award the debate.
Can we all hear? Oh, thank you very much again for coming out today. It's been a sensational debate, and congratulations to both teams, both amicable debaters, and you both deserve to be here. So one more round of applause, please. To keep things nice, short and sweet, we're going to award the debate today. There was a split decision between the adjudicators today, and the split was 3-2, so it was a very close debate. The debate today has gone to the affirmative.
I call upon a member of the runner-up team from Rostrevor to give a vote of thanks.
On behalf of Rostrevor College, I'd like to thank Glenunga International High School for twice putting up a really competitive debate. The parents and supporters for coming out and driving us to Pembroke every week. The adjudicators for giving us tips every week. The timekeeper and chairperson for taking care of all the finer details. And the coaches for helping us every lunchtime and everything to help us make a good debate. Thank you.
I call upon a member of the winning team from Glenunga International High School to second that vote of thanks.
Yeah, I would like to second vote of thanks given by Rostrevor by starting off. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, it's been really fun debating you twice, and you won last time, and I think that was well deserved. So, yeah, congratulations on making it this far as well. I'd like to thank the audience. It's a really big crowd today, the biggest that I've seen in quite a while, and it's really great to see that there are people who are really interested and do want to come and watch us debate. The adjudicators, this is the first time that any of us, I think, have had a panel of 5, so this is really interesting to see how that works, and chairman and timekeeper, because they kind of run this debate. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance. I now declare this debate closed.